happy life. I want to change the lives of the more than 1 billion plus size women in the world.
Building the soft skills, the leadership and the confidence in women is crucial. So we're so incredibly proud of our New Wave program. The popularity, the feedback that we get from participants year on year is just overwhelmingly positive. Most importantly, it's the community around New Wave that we're really proud of and that helps us jump out of bed in the morning. It's the give back from the mentors, the speakers, the participants.
My favourite part about being a New Wave mentor is meeting the female founders and hearing their stories and the passion behind their ideas, the experience behind their ideas, and then seeing them evolve from someone who comes into the program with an idea and then exits the program with potentially a completely new idea, a new vision, the bones of a business and an entire network behind them as well.
As a scientist, we do the research and believe in, that we've found the truth in the matter, but through the New Wave program and when you're starting up a small business, you learn to challenge absolutely every thought and every notion that you have and to really make sure that your consumer will believe in it and really needs your business.
I've met a lot of amazing women and I found team members as well who have given me a lot of insights to their investing journey, and I find that I have developed my idea multiple times and we've pivoted a lot of times during the 2 weeks program.
We have been running some fantastic workshops, connecting our participants with mentors and getting them to apply their learning through doing, testing their ideas and getting out there and talking to potential customers.
No matter who you are or where you are, if you identify as an entrepreneurially minded woman who is passionate about solving real-world problems, New Wave is for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you here tonight to the New Wave Showcase. My name is Victoria Rose Tucker and I'm honoured to be the New Wave Program Manager and your MC for this evening. Tonight we have an incredible lineup of entrepreneurs who are passionate and innovative, and I am so excited for them to share their pitches with you tonight. Before we kick off, there are a few important things that I need to cover first. So first of all, I would like to disclose that we have 2 very talented individuals with us here tonight, our videographer Al and our photographer Dave, who will be capturing the event for us. So you may appear in social media or our our highlight reel. If you do have any issues with that, please do let us know. You too are welcome to capture tonight's event on your camera, but please do not share any of our team's ideas without their permission. Should there be a fire, the best point of exit will be out through the doors that you came in through tonight, and secondarily out through the left-hand doors and down the back. You will also find the bathrooms out into the hallway, but down into the foyer and right towards the elevators. Should you need to enter and exit the building tonight, I ask that you hold off from exiting or entering the room whilst the teams are pitching so as to save distractions. I would also ask that you please turn your mobile phones to silent. Thank you. So tonight we are gathered in the Michael Crouch Innovation Centre. This is the heart and home of UNSW Founders, but I would also like to acknowledge that it is the lands of the Bedegal people of the Eora Nation, and I would like to pay my respect to their elders past and present, and also extend that respect to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people here today. So as I look around the room, we have founders, mentors, UNSW affiliates and guests, and I'm so excited to see so many of you here to support the New Wave cohort. But some of you may not know the mission of UNSW Founders, so I'd like to share that with you. We exist to support and guide those who are curious about entrepreneurship, who have an idea or a startup that they're ready to launch into the world. We have an array of programs and services to support them throughout the entrepreneurial journey. But New Wave exists for the early idea stage and is uniquely designed for women. We provide women with a supportive, inclusive environment where they can test their ideas, build confidence, and build entrepreneurial skills. New Wave has been running since 2017, and since then we have run 11 cohorts, supported 567 women who have worked on 211 startups. Tonight, we celebrate the accomplishments of the 36 teams that have completed Cohort 11 and 65 women in that cohort. And in particular, we're here to support the top 10 teams who will be getting up on stage tonight to share their ideas with you. You may not believe it, but some of these ideas were only formed 5 weeks ago, and these teams only came together 5 weeks ago. So, if you would come together with me in a round of applause to celebrate these teams. There is so much diversity in the ideas that will be shared tonight, and I ask you to keep an open mind because you will be too voting for your people's choice. So for those of you where this is your first showcase rodeo, you may be wondering how tonight's going to work. So our 10 teams are going to get up on here on the stage. They have 3 minutes to pitch their ideas, and then they'll have 3 minutes with our awesome judging panel over here who I will introduce shortly. The judges will then leave to deliberate and select their 4 winners. You will get the opportunity to pick your favourite. The judges will come back, we'll announce our winners, and we'll conclude tonight with some networking, food and drinks. So what's up for grabs tonight? We have a $13,500 prize pool. Our People's Choice Award is worth $1,500, and we have 3 awards tonight sponsored by Doone Roisin, our Business Innovation Award, a UNSW Faculty of Engineering Award, and a UNSW Faculty of Medicine and Health Award, all worth $2,500. And we have our first prize of $4,000. So what do the teams have to do to take away one of these awards tonight? Well, our judges, they'll be looking for these 7 things. But don't worry, you just need to pick your favourite. Tonight we have Doone Roisin representing the Female Startup Club. We have Parissa Glass stepping in for Phoebe Phillips, who unfortunately could not make it tonight. We have Cordelia Selumulia representing the Faculty of Engineering, and we have Kristen Phillips representing UNSW Founders. So tonight you are going to hear from some teams who've created products, services, and new technologies. No matter what they are though, you can expect to be inspired as they are all unique and they have been waiting to share these with you all day. So if you would just join me in giving them a warm round of support and applause, that would be greatly appreciated. So our first team coming up on stage tonight, they are tackling the challenge of ensuring that the efforts and the solar energy of the 1/3 of households in Australia that have solar panels do not go to waste. But also, they are providing me with the perfect opportunity for a shameless plug for our new Climate 10X program. If this is something that would be of interest to you, please come and chat to myself or any one of our team members here tonight. But without further ado, please welcome Zero Carbon Flux.
I'm Jessica and I hate waste. I hate wasting food, I hate wasting money, I hate wasting electricity. You know what is a huge waste of electricity? Is solar panels. About 40 to 50% of solar energy being generated does not get used. Why? Low demand coupled with very high supply of solar energy during the daytime. Not only that, but you also have to pay for expensive coal-based electricity at night. So how can we use more daytime electricity and reduce our nighttime electricity usage? The Zero Carbon Plug is a smart plug or solar panel accessory that communicates with your solar panels to make use of every last bit of free available renewable energy. Charging your devices, your EV, running the hot water system, using your pool pump, running the dishwasher, the washing machine can all be automatically timed to consume free solar energy during the day rather than at night. And as your plug turns off, it won't be consuming any power on standby mode either. With a $500 set of zero carbon plugs, households can utilize up to $1,500 per year of electricity that they're not using. More importantly, that's 5 metric tons of CO2. Imagine the impact we can have by doing this for 3.5 million households. So our competition includes very high-cost solar battery manufacturers such as Tesla. Current smart plug manufacturers such as Philips don't communicate with solar triggers. And Power Diverter, a fellow startup, they have a similar mission to zero carbon plugs, but they only focus on hot water heating. By contrast, zero carbon plugs is a lower cost alternative, maximizes your solar energy to power whatever you want. So in our customer survey, we found that a very high proportion of respondents actually actively reduce their electricity usage every day. And they were very open to purchasing a tool that would help them do so. So our business model consists primarily of plug sales, but using the energy savings data from the plugs, we can actually use this to redeem carbon credit units, which we can then sell on a carbon credit marketplace. So Australians spend about $3.5 billion per year on solar panel installations. And we believe that our obtainable market is $42 million per year. So with my day job as an electrical engineer, my involvement with international electrical standards, as well as my engineering degree, I believe that I have invaluable technical expertise to make zero carbon plugs a reality. And my mentors, Eric and Natalie, are here to support me on the way. So I am looking for a non-technical co-founder as well as mentorship. So if that's something you're interested in, please let me know and let's reach net zero together.
Judges, and I invite you to ask questions.
Thank you so much. It's a very interesting concept, and I think one of the, the advantage is it's something that easily deployed. I just wonder, so are you looking at the plug itself, or is it like an app that you can actually connect to like a smart electrical system or something? So
it is a plug, but it will have some level of software that will determine when do I turn on, when do I turn off. And as we sort of get past that MVP stage, it will, there will be some higher levels of software that will make smarter decisions as to how much electricity, what are we going to turn on, because you can't really turn on everything all at once, right? But you can maybe turn on some and stagger it throughout the day. So that's the, so there would be an app, because people also like to see what savings they get and what their impact is.
So it's more than just a timer in a sense, because you are going to analyze all these other factors.
Yeah, the future vision is.
I'd love to know what your go-to-market strategy is and how you're going to get your first round of customers.
Yeah, so we believe that partnering with solar installation companies is probably our first bet. People already spend about $7,000 to $10,000 on a solar system, and adding a few $100s onto that isn't going to be a lot, especially if they're going to be seeing significant savings from it.
Great.
Thank you. Now, I don't understand much about engineering, but I'm going to ask this anyway. So these plugs would work with any solar power?
So there is a challenge, because solar panels, they have their own what's called APIs. Some of them's public and some of them is private. And that's the challenge that we'll have to have, which is it may be compatible with some, but we can alternatively reach out to the private solar companies and have some sort of compatibility chats.
Just one more question, sorry. So these solar panels, from my understanding, most of them are paid through government subsidies. So is that, have you taken that into account, how the consumer would pay for that because most of it is subsidised. Would this be subsidised, you think?
I think it's possible to apply for grants and apply for it to be eligible under subsidies. So that's a possibility as well. We're not going to rule that out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica. Our next startup tonight is Emmy. Sasha, the founder of Emmy, is dedicated to revolutionising the pregnancy testing and experience and transforming the way we approach privacy and societal perceptions related to pregnancy tests. Please welcome Sasha.
"2022 saw 134 million pregnancies globally. Pregnancy can often be defined as a life-changing experience, one that is met with extreme emotions. Between those who are and who are not looking to fall pregnant, there's that 3 minutes between either fear, excitement, or happiness between peeing on a stick and waiting for your result. What then usually follows is either panic or who knows. Following this within my research, it was found that fear, concern, and anxiety are also highly attributed to the products that are delivering this life-changing news. Pregnancy tests. Within my research, it was found that women either feel ashamed, embarrassed, or anxious about pregnancy tests, particularly within their buying, disposing, and storage, particularly also given the level of stigma associated to the product. This stigma being the social consideration in terms of it being something negative that you're buying. Let's face it, that you might be slut-shamed if you're caught using one, or that you're leaving evidence within its disposal. And Emmy is the solution to this problem. Emmy aims to reinvent and redefine pregnancy test privacy, as well within the buying, storing, and disposal of the product. It aims to reinvent the way that women approach the product in terms of its use, as well as the social stigma associated to the product. Within its design, Emmy is subtle and it aimed not to look like as well as be used as other products currently available within the market. And in terms of the total global pregnancy test mark value, continuously considering to be growing, so does the opportunity for Emmy. The competition within the market is made up of key powerhouse players. And yes, despite that some of these players already do focus on privacy, they are not regulated within Australia. And yes, despite the fact you could easily buy any of these online, your deliveries are not instant and nor are they private, with most delivery labels distinctively identifying the package contents. Within the market, Emmy will operate across a traditional retail business model with main sales coming from direct-to-consumer purchase. Based on a 12-month trajectory, top-line sales is targeted to be 10,000 units with an annual revenue of 300,000. This is to be achieved at $30 a kit, and Emmy will have a 25% margin at $7.50. In terms of current status to date, a key milestone that has been achieved has been discussions with 2 leading medtech consulting companies who have responded favourably to the project. In order to actually present something to the TGA, the Therapeutic Goods Administration of Australia, in terms of a viable solution, regulation and representation by a medtech consulting firm is required in order to develop a working and feasible prototype solution. Having both this representation to then also receive TGA approval is the first step that Emmy needs in order to then move and progress through the market, with key partners already identified to help drive its performance. I myself have both the practical and professional brand marketing experience, as well as the absolute genuine passion to be the driving force behind the Emmy brand. And now for the ask. In order to actually bring Emmy to life and to achieve this first step, funding is required to cover for the production of a working and feasible prototype solution, as well as to attain regulatory representation. And of course, you can also support Emmy tonight by voting within the People's Choice Award, as well as scanning the QR code on screen in order to hear further updates of the brand's development. I welcome any and all opportunity for mentorship, guidance, and support following tonight's event.
Kristen, did you want to ask a question that you didn't get to last time?
Hi, Sasha. How are you going? Great pitch. Sorry if I missed this, but what's your distribution strategy? Are you going to have the product exclusively, or
ideally through Chemist Warehouse and Terry White Pharmacy? So Chemist Warehouse, off the top of my head, is 350 stores. Terry White is 106 stores plus e-com. So they'll be my two main distribution channels. There's also an alternative partner that I'm looking to partner with, Hola Health. They work in terms of being an online health tech platform, and to work with them in terms of the distribution via an app.
Awesome, thank you.
Just a question about it being disposable. Whenever I see disposable, I sort of get nervous. Isn't something else to dispose? Have you thought about your environmental impact? Because the others don't really think about that.
So there is one current product in market which is Hoopsy, and they're a Sydney-based startup. So they work off a paper-based material product. So there is an option in terms of that. In terms of the actual structure of the case, I've considered either biodegradable moldable pulp, biodegradable PP, or as well as tin plate. So there are options on the market. The only issue is I need a manufacturer to help me, and to get a manufacturer, I need sponsorship, and to get sponsorship, I need funding. So that's the full circle of where I'm at right now.
We have time for one more question.
Just on, would you be planning to manufacture this?
So I can't get a listing of Australian manufacturers because it is confidential data. So once I have a sponsor to see if there is anyone within Australia to do so, I ideally would like to keep it locally. 90% chance it would look like to be China or Canada at this point.
Thank you. Our next startup is making waves in the recruitment field, but not how you know it. Meet RosterHive, a team dedicated to eliminating inefficiencies and delays in the hiring process for engineering, procurement, and construction companies. Please welcome RosterHive.
90% of construction projects experience delays. And to understand why, we interviewed 15 construction companies. And it may surprise you, but all of them said that administrative burden is one of the biggest factors of these delays. And we wanted to narrow down and find the bottleneck. And fortunately, we found it. But firstly, let's imagine a situation. You are a contractor, and I'm your client. You have people, and I have a construction project. And I'm asking you to give me 500 of your employees. Sounds easy, right? But actually it means that you need to choose 500 employees out of 10,000 of your employees that will match my criteria in terms of licenses, certificates, qualifications, employment types, and so on. It's a lot of manual work. So identifying the right in-house employees for the right clients and projects is the bottleneck. Existing bureaucratic process looks like this, and this model is even oversimplified. Contractor goes on and on through this cycle until all employees will be approved by the clients. And on average, it takes 2 to 14 days. It's ridiculous, right? But what if they had a magic pill? What if they had an artificial intelligence for that? And here comes RosterHive. It is an AI-powered workforce management platform that can match, reassign employees, it can generate, update, and compare contracts. Literally, the software can do all this massive amount of work and reduce workload substantially. Sorry. So how does it work? A contractor uploads job descriptions just in a bulk. And then AI finds the right candidates for all the positions. And then contractor assigns these employees to the appropriate projects. And after client's approval, just send them on board. In terms of market size, we are approaching 273 billion Australian construction market. And our ambition does not end here. We see tremendous potential for growth on global construction market, which was 11 trillion. RosterHive is a B2B software platform. We offer a subscription-based model priced at 15,000 per year. For this price, contractors can have cost-effective platform that can improve productivity, customer management, and resource utilization. Unlike traditional HR recruitment and onboarding platforms, RosterHive is one-stop shop to manage entire workforce for constructors. And now we are making a demo version. And in November of this year, we are planning to launch our initial product. And we have a strong team. Together, we have 35 years of combined experience in industry. And each team member has its unique set of skills which can benefit our startup. For example, me and Jamie worked in digital transformation and strategy and operations for the past 6 years. And we know firsthand all the pitfalls in the industry, and we know how to improve things. So if you're interested, scan the QR code and approach us after the showcase. Thank you.
Hi, great pitch. I'm curious to know, when you just mentioned what your background is, but I'm curious to know what led you to construction specifically, and if your interest is more on the AI side of things, or if your interest is more in construction.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. It's a great question. So as Aidana said, that we work in the industry for a lot of time. So I worked in oil and gas in Kazakhstan, and then work in the energy sector. Currently, I'm working in construction. So basically, our whole life was connected to the industry. So, and since we are inside, we know different flows of the industry, and we decided that we can be the one who will actually take this burden from construction companies and improve efficiency. In the end of the day, we all want to have houses, we want to work in beautiful offices, and this platform can actually improve productivity by 50% of all construction companies, not only in Australia, but in the entire world. Thank you.
That's amazing. I just have a follow-up question.
Sure.
Based on that experience, I could assume that you have a great kind of connection to different construction companies and ins with the construction companies. Is that the case?
Yes, we are well connected to Downer. Our advisor was program manager for Downer for many years, for 16 years. I work in RSGX, which is a middle-sized construction company with 600 people. And we also connected to such companies as Schlumberger, Lloyd's, Siemens, and others. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just a quick one question. Sorry. This is a bit more philosophical. I like the use of AI, and because we know that how AI is going to change a lot of things. Do you trust AI to put together the best team to work together? Can they actually identify personality, for example? Because this is something that has to be taken into account when you put together a team that wants to deliver something good.
Yes, it's a very good question. Actually, at this initial stage, we are checking only credentials in terms of qualifications, licenses, work experience. But in terms of deciding is it the culture fit is correct, right? It's a decision of the client in the end of the day. And most of the craft specialists, they actually don't get checked for culture fit. They just get checked for different certificates and work experience. So this is a very food for thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Sorry, me again.
Going rogue, but definitely take it.
I'm curious just to understand the pricing model. $15,000, when I hear that for enterprise-sized clients, sounds really cheap for a year. So I just want to understand how you landed on that as a number.
Thank you very much. So basically, this is a starting point, 15,000. It's not so much. We compare different software platforms like Procore for project management, Employment Hero for HR, JobBetter for recruitment, and we identified that actually the final price will depend from number of users and from number of employees that the company have and they want to check. And also currently we're testing demo version, and up until now, our platform can find one candidate from 5,000 in just 5 minutes. And we already talked to RSGX and Downer, and they're ready to test our demo version. Thank you.
Amazing, thanks.
Thank you.
So our next team to take the stage tonight understands how challenging it can be for students to stay focused on their studies, from pesky social media distractions to even retaining the information that they learn in the classroom. Our next startup, Atoma, is here to shake up the status quo and help students stay focused, but in a fun way. Please welcome Atoma. Good luck.
Hi everyone, my name is Stella and I'm a high school science teacher. Before I introduce you to Atoma, I'd like you to meet Derek. Derek is one of my Year 9 science students this year, and he's a great student. He's positive, he's polite, and he has a great sense of humour. We recently did a science test and Derek didn't do so well. Derek got an 8 out of 30 in his exam. It honestly broke my heart as I handed him back his test and then watched his face as he pretended that he didn't care about the mark anyway. Without tangible results, it is only so long before students like Derek start to tell themselves, I'm just no good at school and I'm just not smart enough for science. Everyone has been in Derek's position at some point in their lives, sitting through 6 periods of class just to get home tired, overwhelmed, and lucky if you even remember 10% of what you've been taught in school today. Before you know it, you've succumbed to the infinite scroll of TikTok. This is the reality of millions of Australian students in 2023. But what if we could place the reins of learning back into our students' hands? Atoma replaces digital distractions with authentic learning. Our app offers science content in bite-sized chunks, all packaged in a fun, gamified format. Our innovative use of adaptive learning algorithms ensures that students are targeted with content and questions which are at their current ability level, producing a unique, personalised learning journey which is at their current level. Our innovative use of AI technology also ensures that students receive immediate feedback. Here's where the magic happens. Atoma is a Tamagotchi-style app where students' learning fuels their pet Atoma's growth. By completing questions and activities, students earn growth points, which they can then use to purchase food and items for their pet. Over time, based on students' development of positive study habits, their pet's personality and attributes are either enhanced or diminished. So why now? Alongside declining Australian science performance, almost 1 in 5 of our children are being taught science by non-science trained teachers. While we cannot change the teacher shortage crisis overnight, we can ensure that our students become independent learners. Furthermore, Atoma enters the edtech market at a time of significant growth, intensified by the need for flexible and accessible ways of learning in a post-COVID world. Within the Australian edtech market, there are currently no dominant science education apps focused within our age group of years 4 to 9. Especially with our gamified format, which places an emphasis on students' development of positive study habits. Atoma fills this unique niche. With the Australian edtech market set to reach $3.7 billion by 2024, we aim to capture an obtainable market of 400,000 users. That's 1 in 5 students in the target age group of years 4 to 9, generating potential revenue of $24 million per year. We aim to do this through a subscription model of $5 per user per month with a 2-week free trial period. Our continuously evolving prototype has already received extremely positive and enthusiastic feedback from real students who love the gamified format. Furthermore, our MVP is currently being developed through no-code software with real users ready for testing. Our team consists of myself, a high school science teacher, Lisa, who is a consultant, passionate about bringing better learning experiences to all, and Siobhan, who brings the financial expertise. Join us in our mission to make science education more accessible for students like Derek. If you know someone who is passionate about education with app development experience, we would love to get in contact. Atoma, come for the games, stay for the learning.
Oh, that was a great pitch. And I've got 2 boys at that age that it's really hard to
I feel you.
kind of manage them. So is this targeted for high school students? And,
sorry.
And does it go through different difficulties as they kind of grow?
So our target age group is years 4 to year 9. However, the app is made for year 4 students to year 10. Only being that the gamified format, we find that it's more appealing to students within that age group. In terms of the difficulty level, it is definitely adaptable, not just to the stages, it's more to the individual student. So adaptive learning algorithms like they currently use in NAPLAN testing ensure that basically if students do a question wrong, then they get a slightly easier question. But for our app, we're not only focused on the questions, we're also focused on the content as well. So based on their development of skills, we'll say, okay, they are at this current level, we will give them questions targeted to that level and questions targeted to that, content targeted to that level as well.
And is it within the curriculum of the schooling?
Absolutely. So our app will be targeted towards the Australian curriculum.
Hi. Loved that. So great. I'm also wondering around the kind of model when it comes to like targeting the parents versus targeting the schools. What was the decision to, go directly to parents versus like working directly with schools?
So in terms of when we did our market research, we found that there are a lot of B2B companies, companies like Education Perfect, companies like Style, etc. They target towards schools, and those are more apps targeted towards teachers actually using those apps within classrooms. But we found that there was a particular need for example, if I'm setting Derek classwork, it would take a lot of time for me to then plan that out. And I teach 250 students in a year, so being able to cater to every student is very difficult and just be able to set them stuff that they can do for revision. Whereas the apps that currently are B2B working with schools are more for teacher use as opposed to stuff that students can then independently do themselves.
Got it. And the follow-up question is, with that in mind, how would you be reaching parents at scale?
Yep, so given that our target market is years 4 to 9, we know that parents are the ones that we want to target in terms of marketing. So in terms of how we reach them at scale, we've got 3 main channels that we want to go through. So firstly, social media and influencer engagement. Second, we want to actually go through the schools themselves. And third, we want to drive organic word of mouth traffic. In terms of social media for parents, we'd mostly be using popular community groups such as mum and dad groups on Facebook. And the influencer engagement, we'd be reaching out to educational influencers as well as mum and dad bloggers, basically to promote our product by offering them free use of the product in exchange for an honest review. In terms of school channels, we'd leverage paid advertising available through a lot of school newsletters and emails to make sure we reach the right people. And finally, in terms of organic word of mouth, we plan to offer a bonus month of free usage for every successful referral. So that's how we plan to market Atoma to scale.
I love that. I have one more follow-up question. Is it going to stay science only, or is there an opportunity to, move into other subjects?
Currently, our focus is on science apps. Again, going back to the market, there are other apps which target maths and English. Maths, English, science are basically the top areas where students are most concerned and parents are also most concerned. Whereas we find that, like I mentioned, there's no really science targeted apps. There's definitely potential to move into other content areas, but that would be something we'd be expanding into the future, just because it is a flexible format. But yeah, currently science. Thanks. Thank you.
Sorry, that's all we have time for, but thank you so much, Atoma.
Thank you.
With the New Wave program, one thing I really love about it is that it draws in amazing women who are passionate about solving problems uniquely faced by women. This next startup understands how overwhelming it can be for women to navigate finding the right period treatment program or period treatment option for them. Please welcome dear Aunt Flo.
$450 million. That's how many results a simple Google search on how to deal with period pain yields. Moreover, 88% of women in Australia have suffered from period pain at some point in their lives, but not everyone has found the one solution that works for them. We sat down with 44 women aged 14 to 50, and our suspicions were confirmed. Not knowing the root cause behind their period pain, a lengthy research process, and ineffective pain treatment methods were their key challenges. And so this indicated to us 3 underlying problems. 1, a knowledge gap. 2, an information barrier. And 3, a significant desire to explore more effective pain relief options. Introducing Dear Aunt Flo. Our mission is to create a knowledge ecosystem which empowers women with the truth behind their menstrual issues, and importantly, find treatments which are right for them. Dear Aunt Flo is an aggregator website with plans to develop a mobile-based app. Users will first fill out a symptoms-based questionnaire around their menstrual pain, pain levels, and previously tried treatment methods. Then, based on medical data scraped from the web, combined with data points from other users sharing similar pain profiles, our algorithm will then recommend them with some potential treatments, brands, and products. Finally, our community page will allow women to share their own stories, read those of others, and also find helpful resources and articles for the self-management of their pain. We fill a critical gap in the market by providing a centralized source of information on period treatments, personalized to you and validated by the experiences of others. So in terms of the current market, we found that based on the average menstrual age, our product would be relevant to around 5.7 million women in Australia. And then given the growth rate of the femtech and fertility app market, we expect our sort of annual growth rate to fall somewhere in between these 2 percentages. Sorry, this is the right set of slides. So we expect our revenue to come from 2 key sources. 1, partnership-based commissions gathered from products recommended by our site, and 2, a nominal subscription fee charged for access to exclusive content, such as workshops by leading gynecologists and seminars by pain specialists. So we have an all-female founding team ranging from experiences from UX design to medical expertise, allowing us to build a product that provides real value to women. Our pre-launch roadmap consists of 3 phases: building our website, growing it through applying for funds and participating in accelerator programs, and also connecting with others in the community through building our social media presence on platforms such as TikTok and Instagram. We have 2 key asks for you. 1, we are seeking a technical founder with expertise in full-stack web development. And 2, leads and introductions to healthcare safety and regulation experts who can actually advise us on the compliance-related requirements associated with providing recommendations to the general public. So if you can help, please scan the QR code and come chat to us.
Thank you for your pitch. I think you kind of answer what I was about to ask with your last mention, because one of the things that probably very important is what safeguard will you put in place to make sure that you don't recommend the wrong treatment to people, because if they rely on your app to kind of find out, how to treat their condition, then you have to make sure that it's the right information that we're given.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe just one quick one. So a lot of, I guess, these self-help apps would benefit from having some kind of a community. Have you thought about that as well?
Yeah, so I think we mentioned our pitch that we will build a community through our app. I don't think it was displayed in the video, but we plan on building out a forum, sort of like Facebook, where you can post feeds and join groups. So for example, I know some groups that women might be interested in joining might be, for example, postnatal, dealing with periods postnatal, or for example, mothers with teenagers who are just entering that stage. So there's a lot of different groups that you can actually join. And also we've also considered a chat function where you can reach out to different communities in that, different members in that community, and sort of network around and reach and ask the questions that you want to get answered. Yeah.
And I think another feature we're considering is actually introducing a login/avatar kind of thing. So women can actually revisit the questionnaire they completed, say 3, 6, 12 months down the line, and see if there's been any improvement in their sort of symptoms. And that way that will provide us an extra data point as well as to whether we've actually made effective recommendations for them. And they can also share that sort of story with other women through the community segment. Sorry, we can project.
Hello. Yes, great. Great pitch. I'm just wondering, as you mentioned, you've got ideas for different features, but what is the one killer feature that you think will really get women to spend money on this app? And what's the first thing that you're going to start building and testing?
Sorry, I think one of the features that we were introducing that I think would be a value proposition for women to join and pay a small fee is having reaching out to professional healthcare experts and having them do talks and seminars, which through the paid subscription they can have access to, whereas compared to a free model, they wouldn't be able to have those additional features on that app.
Thank you.
I think we can agree that getting up here on the stage can be pretty scary. So if we could also just give an extra round of applause for Alison, feeling the fear and going through with it anyway. So our next startup to take the stage tonight have an innovation which I myself have never seen in New Wave before. So please put your hands together for Kid Friend Knee, who are transforming the lives of young amputees and their families by crafting custom-made yet affordable prosthetic knees for children.
This is Yana. 2 weeks ago, she lost her legs due to a missile attack in Ukraine. This is the horrible reality for many children all over the world due to violence, freak accidents, and diseases. Currently, there are 700,000 children all over the world with major lower limb loss. And many of these children don't have access to the healthcare services they require to get a prosthetic and improve their quality of life. As you may know, children grow very quickly. So just like they need new clothes or new shoes, they need new prosthetics every 8 to 12 months. This is extremely unsustainable and very expensive, especially considering the fact that prosthetic legs cost from $8,000 to $80,000. If you look at so what we need is a solution that is adjustable so that we don't need to replace the prosthetics as often, affordable so that the prosthetic leg is available to as many children and families as possible, and sustainable to reduce our impact on the environment. If we look at the market right now, we have the iFit prosthetic that is adjustable in its socket but not in its length. We have the non-spec that is adjustable in length but not in its socket. And we have the Unimap and Newcastle University prosthetic leg that is sustainable as it is made out of recycled waste, but it isn't adjustable. If we look at the market right now, there is not a single product that is adjustable in terms of socket and length, that is affordable, that is sustainable, durable, and marketed specifically towards children, except for ours. Our solution has adjustable sockets and adjustable length. It is made out of polypropylene that is a durable and sustainable material as it is recyclable, and we're looking at marketing our product at a competitive retail price of $2,000. If we look at the market right now, we have a TAM of $750 million, which is looking at prosthetics all around the world for children. We have a SAM of $112 million, which is looking at prosthetics for children in first world countries, and we have a SOM of $2.5 million, which is looking at children that require prosthetics in Australia. We're starting out in Australia not just because we're based in Australia, but because currently the NDIS doesn't cover prosthetic legs for children under the ages of 7. Our business model looks at cutting out the middleman. So we have a subscription service where we can provide our prosthetic leg directly to our customers. Additionally, we're considering working with clinicians and medical organisations to get our product out into the market. We're also considering having a return scheme where our consumers can send back their prosthetic legs, where we can refurbish and recycle the materials to create a new prosthetic leg for children in need in developing countries or those who do not have access and cannot afford to buy prosthetics themselves. We can do this by collaborating with organisations such as Limbs for Africa. This is our team. We all have, we are Kid Friendly. I'm the CEO and founder of Kid Friendly, and I have a background in mechanical and biomedical engineering, and Jessica has a background in electrical and biomedical engineering as well. We both have experiences working with medical devices, as we've both worked together on an assistive automated breathing device, and I'm currently working on an artificial heart right now. And Martina is a postdoctoral researcher at UNSW, and she has experience working in startups and is in charge of strategy and management. Jessica's in charge of marketing, and I'm in charge of prototyping and the technical side of this product. If anyone has any experience in materials engineering, materials science, and product development or prosthetic devices, please be free to reach out to us and help us support our vision for children and be a friend in need. Thank you.
That was incredible. Amazing, well done. So you said that once they finish using it, they can return it, and then you can refurbish and then send it to.
Because the materials.
Yes. So then, what's the market for that? You think? How much do you think you would charge for that? Originally, you charged $2,000. I'm just thinking about developing economies, emerging.
Currently the organisations Limbs for Africa, I'm pretty sure they're just donating the device. So what they do is they get prosthetics that are already used by children, and then they refurbish them, or we can refurbish them, and then we can collaborate with them just to donate them to children who actually need them as of right now.
And is that sustainable, you think?
Yes, because we're reusing the prosthetics right now. So far with the research we've done, all prosthetics are just being thrown into landfill. There's no process for them.
I mean financially.
Possibly. This is something we're considering, which is what I mentioned, but we're looking at trying to do this.
Yeah, I was just going to say we are in the phase of prototyping, so the material is still like in the research process, so we can't really predict exactly the value for that and the recyclability.
Hi, that was great. I'd love to know why you started the business. What led you to the idea?
So both Jessica and I, we co-founded this through New Wave, and we both have a background in biomedical engineering. So we're interested in pursuing something within the biomedical field. So we just did some research as to some problems in the biomedical engineering field and what things we can improve on. And this is just something that we found and we're really interested in.
Okay, great. Thanks. Took my question, Doon, but sorry, I got another one. Back up. Can you envision dedicating your life to this problem, this product?
Possibly, only because so we'd have to look at it as an international market, so we'd have to see how viable it is to expand it globally. I'm looking at exchanging in the next few years of my degree, so as I go there, and I'll possibly try to I'm looking at courses in entrepreneurship, so I can network with entrepreneurs and students outside of Australia, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Wonderful. We'll stay connected and you go over there.
I just had a follow-up question, and you might have answered it, so sorry if you did, but why is the price so different? Like, why is it $80,000 now per prosthetic versus $2,000, and what's your margin on something like that now?
Yeah, so the reason is because right now, prosthetics are custom made for each person, so they have to pay for the prosthesis to have that product made specifically for you in terms of like what you need from that prosthetic. So like say someone is interested in like running or swimming, like those are some of the things, like it depends on what you need to get out of that leg, and all of that experience coming from the prosthesis is like, that's what you're paying for, like their expertise and like the materials, the costs and everything like that. So it's because it's very personalized and customized. So what we're trying to get with our product is that firstly it's for children, so not a lot of them are going to be like Olympic athletes or something like that. So it doesn't really matter if our product isn't specifically specialized towards a specific thing. And also the fact that it's adjustable, we should be able to make a product that isn't customizable just for one person, because they can adjust it in terms of socket and in terms of length. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
So our next startup is for all the bookworms in the house. I definitely self-identify as a bookworm. And I think if you are a bookworm, you can also relate to the fact that you probably have way too many books sitting on your nightstand that you should probably get rid of, but you either couldn't get round to it or you don't really know how to do so unless it's through Facebook, which, let's be honest, it's quite annoying. So our next startup is here to simplify the process and help us indulge in our book addiction, but in a more cost-effective way. Please welcome our lit.
Hi everyone, my name's Elizabeth. I'm an environmental researcher here at UNSW. And one of the first things I did when I moved to Sydney last year was look for a book I was excited to read. But it was super hard for me to decide on one, and when I finally did, it wasn't available at any of the local used bookshops or my local library, so I had to buy it online. Not only was the book expensive, but it was shipped from overseas, which generated unnecessary emissions. Plus, now this book and all the other books I've had to buy online since moving here are cluttering my space. I've become increasingly frustrated with these issues, how hard it is to find a book I'm excited to read, buy it at an affordable price, and resell it. And it's not just me. I spoke to over 100 customers who agree that it's difficult to buy, sell, and discover books. That's why for the past 6 months, my team and I have been developing Arlit, which is Australia's first peer-to-peer marketplace for books. We're really the first product that allows your average book owner to easily sell a book online. Currently, potential customers have to go different places to discover, buy, and sell books. We really come in and differentiate by providing a one-stop shop where folks can do all three. Although we have no direct Australian competitors, there is a similar concept in the US called Pango Books, and they were launched less than 2 years ago. They already have $5.5 million in revenue with just 5 employees. Right, and this is in the US, which is a much more crowded market than where we plan to operate. We are utilizing a commissions-based model, assuming that the 15 million Australian book owners sell just 35% of the books they have cluttering their space. We could theoretically generate $530 million in annual revenue. Our initial foothold market is going to be Australian young adult fantasy and romance readers who are looking to immediately sell their unused books. By capturing those 10,000 initial customers, that'll get us to $1 million in revenue in the first year of operation. as we expand to capture 1% and then 2% of all Australian readers of all genres, will grow to 7 million and then 14 million in revenue, with global expansion happening in year 4, most likely starting in the UK. In terms of our customer acquisition strategy, we've got a growing wait list of over 200 potential customers and a Facebook group with 150 potential customers. Our team is awesome. Everyone's got startup experience working with the startup, and between our CTO and tech advisor, there's over 25 years of engineering expertise. We're looking for some pre-seed funding as well as some marketplace industry experts and a legal advisor to join our advisory board. If you're interested in getting involved, you can scan this QR code for my contact info. Also, everyone in the audience should scan it and join our waitlist. So, thank you.
Thank you. It's a very interesting pitch. I just wonder, who do you think is your biggest competitor, Kindle or the local library?
Our biggest competitor. Well, why I'm really excited about the idea is there really is no direct competitor in the Australian market. Biggest competitor right now, most people are buying and selling their used books through Facebook groups. So that's probably our biggest competitor, but it's pretty tough to navigate those.
Because I guess the idea is you don't want people to just own books, but they can also resell it. But nowadays, a lot of people use ebooks, for example, which you can just get anything in your fingertips. Or alternatively, you can also go to the library, just borrow the book, read it, and then return it back. So you don't actually have to own it.
Yeah, I got you. So in terms of ebooks, it's something like, think about the movie theater, right? Like during COVID, I was worried that the movie theater was going to go away. Because I was like, everyone's watching on their, computers. But still, now, like, we're kind of in the clear and everyone's still going to the cinema, right? There's something like, it's the same with like a book. Like, there's something so special about having like a paper book you can read. And I don't think that's ever going to go away with ebooks. Even like my friends, I can't with the ebooks, but even my friends who do, they're like, it's not my favorite, but like, just when they want to quickly get a book, And libraries, the selection's pretty limited. So yeah.
Hi, thanks for that. You mentioned that you wanted, or you're looking for 150,000 in seed funding. I'm just wondering how you came up with that number and what you'd be spending it on.
Yes. Oh, so glad
and
you
then
asked.
I have a follow-up question.
Wow. Oh, look at that in there. The bulk of it's going towards hiring a CTO on full-time and some dev contractors to do some engineering. And then there's a bit of funding as well going into hiring design contractor as well as our digital infrastructure. That 10K, you're thinking like that's like AWS server space, APIs that we kind of connect to the initial MVP for like the messaging aspects and whatnot. So yeah, the bulk of it's engineering.
Right, got it. I'm just wondering if you've explored an MVP and sort of testing the concept or proving the concept before the 150K pre-seed.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Well, in addition to customer research, we've also been testing kind of the concept through our Facebook group where people can go to buy and sell used books. And yeah, and I think kind of another version of that is like, our Facebook group doesn't have that many members yet, but if you're looking at all the other Facebook groups where people are going to try to, sell their books, even if no one's responding, they're trying there, right? But it's such a poor kind of infrastructure that wasn't built for that, and people are still trying. So in a way, that's kind of no-code validation, but we've got our own going too.
Great, thanks.
What do you think makes your marketplace unique versus Facebook and Facebook groups?
Yeah, great question. Well, I would say really kind of what what I was talking about in that slide. I can go back to it here. Yeah, is kind of the features that we really are building to to allow customers to discover, buy, and sell books. I think that discovery piece is key. Like even if you're looking at like e-commerce or marketplaces in terms of books, it's really hard to kind of figure out what to read. And I don't think there's really been any site that's kind of tackled that. Think like when you go on Netflix and it's pretty easy to get connected with like a show that you're excited to watch, right? And they have kind of all those different, recommendations for you. We want to really lean into that. And also in terms of like Facebook and Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, it wasn't designed for books. And so there's just a lot of like little inconveniences. And then I would say local pickup and shipping integration is also a huge thing that kind of Facebook is missing. It's basically like message and figure it out, like you're on your own. Like we're kind of providing a guarantee as well as like a, shipping integration that makes it really easy for folks to ship their books.
I have another follow-up question.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering around the revenue model, because selling secondhand books with the commission that you're going to make, and if you've raised, capital and things like that, when would you kind of work towards becoming profitable?
Yeah, for sure. So it's pretty kind of low overhead in terms of getting our product launched, and within the first year, we think we can, first year post-launch, we think we can generate $1 million in revenue, which will get us to profitability. So pretty quickly.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
She was very prepared. A lot here. Right. So for our next team, we'll be shifting to the healthcare industry. So I'm going to do another shameless plug. We do have a Health 10X Accelerator program as well. So if that is of interest to you, please come and speak to us about that also. So FerroOpt, they are developing a medical device that can be used at home to test iron levels. Please welcome FerroOpt.
Could I get a show of hands of how many of you know of someone who's been dealing with iron deficiency? With the number of people I see in the room, many of you know how many of the 30% of the women in Australia face the difficulties of daily life. With iron deficiency being left untreated, it really makes it hard to prioritize what's important to us. Chronic fatigue makes it hard to go through our day-to-day tasks. It makes it hard to give 100% to ourselves and to our loved ones. And what we noticed is that as a team, we couldn't find any technology that's out there that really targets early diagnosis and prevention of such a common condition. So what we did is design an early intervention device that will be able to tackle diagnosis and early prevention as well. And this is non-invasive, so we have to totally avoid that awful jab that we have to get at the doctors. We're going to be using pulse oximeter technology and further integrating data processing to be able to provide information on our iron levels at an instant, and it enables the user to figure out what to do next in the treatment plan. The trends show that people are becoming really comfortable with using at-home medical devices. And when we did our survey with 20 women, they all indicated that if we provided a solution that was easy and comfortable to use, they were more than happy to use that on board. With the 8 million women in Australia, and a third of them being iron deficient, that leads to about 2 million customers who are health conscious and be really willing to look into how they can manage their iron levels at home. When we compare ourselves to the market, there is no device that is non-invasive and at home while providing a great accuracy at a really affordable price point. So how do we want to enter this market is the next question. We want to use a business-to-customer model that will be integrating our device with manufacturers who put out their pulse oximeters for off-the-shelf kind of products. And we'll be using those partners to reach a target audience that we feel we want to target first. So how do we get to this point? In the next year, we want to be able to get our idea IP protected and have a fully functioning prototype whilst maintaining a relationship with someone who can advise us on how we can grow our business and reach the market the best way possible so that we're fully prepared to negotiate our B2B deals with the partners that we want to work with. And now our team at FerroOpt We are really knowledgeable about the technology that we're talking about, and we know the problem personally at hand, and we feel that we provide a solution that will be really impactful for many women across the globe. So what are we asking for? We need some funding to actually carry out all the milestones that we would hope to achieve when it comes to the prototyping and the advice, but would really require some support on regulatory requirements when making such a device, and some mentorship on how we can bring this idea to fruition. So if you know of anyone or yourself that would be willing to give some support in this field, we would love that. And you can contact us through our QR code, or you can talk to us after the pitch event tonight. And we hope that this presentation has given some insight into a problem that's been facing many women across the globe, and we can provide a solution to future women's health. And we hope to be working with you potentially in the future. Thank you.
Hi there, great pitch. I just wanted to know about the users or the customer's journey. Do they have this product, they get the number, comes back to them. I'm assuming there's some sort of guide of this is a bad number, go to a doctor. So they'd have to go to a doctor if it's bad enough. The doctor would then do a blood test, or would the doctor be able to read and take the device for gospel, essentially, and order prescriptions or whatever they need to, or do they have to get a blood test, essentially?
So in the manual we'll say that they must do a blood test to facilitate the regulation process, but actually our blood reading is very correct.
Great.
Thanks, that's very interesting. I guess, so you said you plan to market this at hospitals, to be used at hospital level kind of thing, is that right?
So when we are planning to do the B2B to C, the business in the middle, it will help us help get into the hospitals, general practitioners, as well as at-home users, just because with pulse oximeters they are being used around all those three main areas. So
is this going to be something ongoing that people have to use? I guess I'm just thinking about, with my own pregnancy, my iron level was down, so I was under, the doctor's advice to take this and take that and whatnot. So how is that kind of going to work? You just sort of test yourself and then see where you're at?
Yeah, definitely.
And is that they need to buy that in advance? I mean, it has to sit within. I'm just trying to see how it all fits in with the whole care. If you, for example, you target at the pregnancy stage, how does it fit all of those care?
So they'd have to have the device at home to be able to do the regular testings at home. And because if you have the device at home, you can actually see when your value drops early, and then you can step in early. Many women have this issue of iron deficiency throughout a long period of their life, and it takes a lot of effort to get your iron levels up. So therefore, we want them to measure continuously at home to get the.
It's definitely a problem. I'm just trying to see how it all fits in with the sort of continuum of care for somebody who's iron deficient. And do you have a physician that it's mentoring you? Do you have in your team anyone that's a doctor?
Yes, we have one. My sister is a general practitioner, and she's advising us.
Do you have the device there?
No, just I'm showing, this is the real pulse oximeter that there is. So what we want to do is that just modifying the current one. So we will develop that sensor, and then negotiating those current companies are selling these pulse oximeters, and it would be a added value for those companies that currently are in the red ocean market. So it could be a added value for them. So that's why I'm showing this, developed 1M class device of biomedical devices, which is non-invasive. So we're just adding an optical sensor to it.
Got it. Cool.
That's all we have time for. Thank you, ladies. Up next, we have Harriet from Maleva Security Labs. In today's world, AI is very prevalent, which I don't think I have to tell you. So tonight we have Harriet, who has expertise in AI risk and governance and will guide us towards a safer future. Please welcome Harriet.
Can I please get a show of hands if you've seen a Tesla on the road recently? Great, you didn't let me regret audience participation. It's massively increased over the last few years. You might be aware that autonomous vehicles are deeply reliant on artificial intelligence to understand the environment around them. But what you might not know is how easy it is to hack an AI. For example, using adversarial machine learning techniques, I could hack into the computer vision model that your car relies on and alter it so that it doesn't recognize a stop sign and drive straight through. Now, I wouldn't do that, but others would. Finance, healthcare, and many other industries currently rely on artificial intelligence to power their analysis. Attacks on these systems could allow someone to influence and profit from stock trading or leak private information to sell on the dark web. AI is an unregulated technology that yields much promise, but also much danger. In fact, 90% of company leaders surveyed say that their business uses some kind of AI, but only 14% of them implement or are aware of AI security. AI security refers to the technical and governance practices that secure AI systems from adversarial exploitation. This year, standards and legislation are being passed down in AI security that companies must comply with. We've spoken to many leaders who say they don't know how to ensure their AI systems comply and keep their customers safe from attacks on their AI. My name is Harriet Farlow and I'm the CEO of Maleva Security Labs. I'm joined by my co-founder and CTO, Julie Banfield. Julie and I have a combined 25 years of experience in machine learning teams across consulting, academia, startups, and government. Julie has a PhD in data science, and I'm currently completing my PhD in machine learning security. We are ready to meet the AI security demand of organizations. Our customers are executives of those companies that will be required or recommended to comply with the incoming standards. Those sectors include telecommunications, healthcare, energy, government, especially defense, manufacturing, and research organizations. Our proprietary AI security framework consists of 8 modules that enable companies to secure their data and AI systems using risk-based control mitigations. It'll be delivered as modules that can be scaled, but the choice of modules and the case studies will be tailored to the customer. We'll also provide advisory and consulting services to coach organizations through its adoption. Our competitors include those consulting firms that currently advise on cybersecurity standards. However, having worked for a Big 4 consulting company before and seen the Excel macros they advertise as AI, I'm not too concerned. We estimate the Australian market to be around $100 million based on advising leaders at the market rate of $1,000 per person per day. We already have interest from the Department of Defence in working with us on a pilot later this year, and in 2 weeks we're meeting with a member of Telstra's C-suite. In July and August we'll be presenting at conferences across North America to generate new leads. We're not looking for venture capital because we don't want our delivery to be compromised by really aggressive growth targets. However, a cash injection at this stage of, say, $4,000 would make a massive difference to us by letting us take time off from our full-time jobs so we can finish delivering and developing the framework and make sure we're ready for the successful delivery of our pilots. We still have time to learn from the lessons of the rise of the internet and subsequent cybersecurity threat while AI technology is still in its infancy. So let's make sure the future of AI is a good one.
That was really cool.
In spirit. We're from Canberra, so she couldn't make the trip.
Oh, that was amazing. Thanks. I'm just wondering where you're at today? Like, is there an MVP? What are you presenting when you're meeting someone at Telstra?
Yeah.
Where are you?
That's a great question. So we have the framework that's currently being developed. It's been part of my PhD output. We have it structured into a grid of sort of products that when we're showing to a potential customer, we can say, we recommend this module for your executives, we recommend these 3 modules for your research teams, these 6 for your technical ML teams. And we're at the point where we are fairly certain, based on the academic literature in adversarial machine learning, about what attacks are real and valid and businesses need to be concerned about. But we've also been socializing it with different, across our network, to make sure that it's something that they actually care about as well, coming from the cybersecurity side as well.
And have you had any early feedback from Telstra, as in getting that meeting? What was the interest feedback situation? Yeah, so we originally started talking about this idea about 1.5 years ago, but based on conversations with potential customers, we just gauged there wasn't a market. And then ChatGPT came out and it changed everything. And I met Telstra's this person because I was presenting at CyberCon, which is a big cybersecurity conference. And usually at these things, I'm the only one talking about AI security. But at this conference, in every time slot, there was someone talking about AI security, including this person. So it's an example of an early adopter who's there waiting for this kind of product. And now there are a lot more early adopters who don't need to be convinced that AI security is a threat, because there's some people who don't really think of AI security as a threat still, but enough people who do. Great, thanks.
How easy it is to, because you already have companies that already have system in place, so how easy it is to plug your framework into their existing framework?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the framework is not a technical framework. It suggests and recommends technical mitigations based on risk for them to put in place. So depending on the kinds of systems they use, they can tailor it for their organisation's requirements. But it does map to all of the standards that are coming in from NIST and ISO, and then across jurisdictions it would be applied differently. So Australia versus the US has a very different legislative landscape in AI security.
Questions, just well done. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
So last but not least, we've reached our 10th pitch for tonight. And this startup is tackling a problem that I believe that we can all relate to, hangriness. But more importantly, they are tackling this problem for infants who most likely have less emotional regulation than most of us. Please welcome to the stage Milk Monster Project.
Preparing a bottle of infant formula takes 9 separate steps. 9. Do you know what parents of hungry babies don't have time for? Anything that takes 9 steps. The problem is there's just no safe way to conveniently feed your baby a bottle of infant formula when you're on the go. Instead, you have to load up your nappy bag with pre-prepared contraptions and inputs and then lug it around the park, the shops. And when it comes to actually mixing that bottle of formula, you're juggling a hangry baby while trying to combine all of the inputs into the contraptions and not drop anything or anyone in the dirt. Sound exhausting? Well, it is. And over 80% of the parents that we surveyed said that they would buy a product that made feeding babies on the go easier. And Rita, Natasha and I are AGSM MBA alumni, and we have the skills and expertise to solve this problem. As busy working mums, we have recently lived through the problem. We've felt the pain points, and we've become fanatical about making life easier for parents and carers. So we've got good news for the over 70% of parents who choose to nourish their babies with formula. Things are about to get a whole lot easier. Milk Monster is a sustainably made single-serve bottle of infant formula. It allows babies to be easily nourished on the go. The wide teat acts as a reservoir to store the formula. You twist the lid, allowing the formula to fall into the pre-prepared, pre-sterilised bottle of water below. Shake and serve. It's similar in concept to the Barocca Twist and Go bottles. Now, Milk Monster should be included in every nappy bag, in glove boxes, in first aid kits, and disaster relief packages. And it should be widely accessible at places like service stations, vending machines, airports. So now I've told you what Milk Monster is, let me tell you what it's not. Milk Monster is not about taking a stand on the breastfeeding versus formula feeding debate. We understand how deeply personal feeding decisions are. We're also not about manufacturing our own formula, nor are we ignoring the sustainability issues that often arise with single-serve products. Now, the baby feeding industry is huge and there is a lot of choice out there, but we haven't come across anything even remotely similar to Milk Monster. Our closest competitors produce single-serve sachets of formula, but that doesn't remove the need to pre-sterilise bottles of water. So what does this mean? This means we have identified a significant commercial opportunity. We conservatively estimate that one bottle every 2 days is fed on the go. Now, in Australia alone, that equates to a demand of up to 38 million feeds a year. With Milk Monster priced between $7 to $12 a bottle, even if we capture just 10% of that market, we're looking at an annual revenue of $40 million a year. Now, we started Milk Monster in October last year, and we've kicked a few goals since then. But what's exciting is where we're going. Our next steps are to finalise our patent application, progress prototyping, and then move into our brand design. But we need $217,000 to get us there, and hopefully that's where you come in. We're also after some business mentorship, and we'd love any introductions into sustainability experts or plastics experts, as well as manufacturers in the formula industry that we could potentially partner with. We are obsessed with Milk Monster as a solution to a very real problem, and we can't wait to talk to you about it further. Thank you.
Thank you for the pitch. It's very interesting. I actually work quite a lot with infant formula manufacturer in my research before and now. My question is, a lot of baby formula, you actually need to have water to make it soluble. So how is it your bottle designs working on that?
So the water temperature itself doesn't always necessarily need to, it's not the temperature always that requires the soluble aspect of it. Often the temperature comes down to baby preference. We've included this in our customer discovery surveys. Most mothers said that their babies were kind of ambivalent towards temperature, and the bottle is actually still able to be warmed on the go through just popping it in a cup of hot water at a cafe.
Okay, and second question is because it is a single disposable bottle, and obviously that raise an issue of sustainability in terms of waste that you generated. Why don't you think about designing bottles that can be reused instead of disposable?
Sure, so this is something that we've thought about a lot, and sustainability is a non-negotiable for Milk Monster. Our minimum viable product, as we've mentioned, will be made by sustainably made sort of recycled plastics, but we're also looking at down the track creating a multi-use bottle that will allow parents and carers to pack the teat themselves and then also pre-sterilise the water. That comes with some issues around food safety that is sort of out of our control, but we're working through that. And the aspiration that we have for Milk Monster is that it will be a buy one, give one product. So this would have huge benefits for babies that find themselves in circumstances where there's limited access to safe drinking water, whether that be through the bushfires that Australia experienced a few years ago, through homelessness, or through various other disasters.
That was awesome. Congrats. I'm just wondering if you see this as like a one product business, or are you looking at new innovation in the future and having a suite of different products on the shelf?
Absolutely. We're looking at convenience products for parents and carers when they're on the go. We think about the concept today, as parents, stuck at the shops and you realize, actually, I forgot the bib at home, I forgot a nappy, I'm stuck somewhere there isn't a baby shop. So the concept of even having a vending machine with relevant baby products. So I think there's a number of spin-offs, including that product that you can reuse again. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Our mission is really to make life easier for parents and carers. So.
Amazing. And are you looking to go down the retail kind of, you might have answered this already, but are you looking to go down the retail kind of side of things or more a direct-to-consumer model?
So we're looking at two models. So we're doing a B2B and a B2C model. So in terms of the B2C model, we're looking at vending machines. So something like a vending machine at the airport, because we've all been in situations where we don't think we have enough formula or bottles for a long-haul flight. So that's just direct to customers, as well as social media marketing through like Amazon and e-commerce websites. So that's the direct to customer model. And then in terms of B2B, we'd be looking at having it stocked in supermarkets, pharmacies, service stations, and things like that. So having as wide distribution as possible. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Thanks. It's really cool. I love it. I guess the problem that I see from breastfeeding side, and this is a problem you're going to face anyway. Yeah. I know that you said you don't want to be talking about the conflict with the breastfeeding, but do you think a solution like this is going to create more incentive for mothers not to breastfeed? And this is a culture that, you know, it's really prevalent and it's a problem, especially in emerging markets.
Yeah, sure. We're fully aware of the sensitivities around feeding decisions. We see Milk Monster not as a permanent, ongoing solution for feeding for parents. It's a convenience product. And it also is an inclusive convenience product. So it's not necessarily mothers that are our target markets. It can be same-sex couples. It can be mothers that actually can't breastfeed. It can be grandparents or adoptive parents that also are unable to breastfeed. So we're trying to be as inclusive and as broad as possible to really drive home the point that it takes a village to raise a child, and every single member of that village deserves a bit of convenience.
We had an interesting stat in our survey. So 100% of exclusively breastfeeding mums or carers said that they would prefer a product like this, just so that they kind of had it in the bag if they needed it. Because we've all had situations where we're trying to breastfeed a baby and they're just very distracted. You're out in the park and it's very cold and you kind of don't want to take your shirt. So yes, we just thought it makes sense to kind of just have it in the nappy bag in case you need it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so that concludes our 10 pitches tonight. I think we can all agree that they did a fantastic job. So could you please join me in celebrating the team? So our judges are now going to leave us, and they have the tough decision of choosing our 4 award winners. And now you will have the opportunity to vote for your favourite, which personally I think that's going to be pretty hard as well. So up on the screen, I'm going to share the People's Choice Awards code here. So you're going to have 2 minutes to scan it. And after that, we will be having a break, but please stay seated just until the People's Choice Award has closed. It will be opened in 1, 2. Please bear with us. The suspense. How are we going, team? Still no? You know what? We will go to the break and we will open it up just before the judges return. Hopefully, by the time you come back to your seats, it will be open. So we're going to have a 5-minute break here. To refill your glasses, pop out to the bathroom, and please return to your seats in 5 minutes. Thank you. Sorry?
Should I try and make a new QR code from this?
Yeah, the QR code is the old one.
I'd like to welcome Cordelia to the stage, representing the Faculty of Engineering Award.
Thank you so much. I think everyone is a winner tonight, but from the Faculty of Engineering, the winner is RosterHive.
Next, I would like to welcome Duma Rasheen, representing the Duma Rasheen Business Innovation Award.
Oh my gosh, huge congrats to everyone who pitched tonight because that was so impressive and I feel like everyone in the room was just blown away by all these brilliant ideas. I'm so excited to announce the Duma Rasheen Business Innovation Award to Maleva Security Labs. Get on up here.
And finally tonight, I would like to welcome Sally onto the stage, representing our first place award.
First place in the New Wave Judges Award goes also to Maleva Security.
So congratulations. Oh, yeah, definitely come back on. Whilst our judges are not in the room tonight, I would still like to say a big thank you to our judges. So if you could come back in, judges, just for a moment. Thank you. I can't imagine how tough that was deciding tonight, even for the People's Choice. I think that was definitely difficult as well. But thank you so much for your time and for your expertise in joining us here for the New Wave Showcase. We truly appreciate you. I would also like to shout out to my team and the coaches that helped our New Wave teams throughout the last 5 weeks. Your guidance and advice throughout has been also greatly appreciated. And for pulling this event together tonight. It is not a one-man thing, not a one-woman thing either. So thank you so much to the team for helping me pull this together. And also thank you to the audience for being here with us tonight. It wouldn't be the same without you, so thank you. And I know one more plug, I promise, this is the last one. Peter Barrel Cup. If you have been inspired tonight and you are a student or a higher degree researcher and you might like to join a pitch competition yourself, we just have a quick little video to play here and then I will release you to grab some food, some drinks and to hopefully connect with the teams and share some help or advice, mentorship, anything that you have. Thank you so much, everyone. Seems like it's a still image right now. May not play. Thank Thank you. That concludes tonight. If you want to stay up to date with UNSW Founders events, please do scan the QR code, subscribe to our newsletter. We have so many showcases happening across the year, and you're welcome back anytime. Thank you.